Hey man, you want to know my opinion of this tobacco?
Sure.
So, right up front, when I look at it, it looks a lot like tobacco.
That's deep.
And then when I light it, it has a distinct, like, tobacco flavor. No kidding. And there's like a tobacco taste when I retrohale. Dude, you suck at this. Man, I know. I wish I could do reviews. My palate isn't just, it's like not like developed enough, you know? Oh, you mean like Bradley at Stuff and Things? Exactly. He's got like a cyborg palate. You really think he can taste things that you can't? I'll tell you what I think, man. I think he's some kind of like genetically engineered experimental reviewing machine from like the 70s made by the tobacco companies, so they could sell more tobacco.
Okay. Or maybe he's just learned to associate words with what he tastes.
You calling me stupid?
Today, I want to talk about why you can and should do tobacco reviews. Real glad Sola here. First, start off with a little disclaimer. My disclaimer is that I am in no way an expert on tobacco reviews, but I do have a little experience. As I've mentioned before, I am a former homebrewer, gold medal winner, and beer judge. So I do have a little bit of experience in doing reviews and taking notes on the things that I perceive and taste. But I find that a lot of people don't do tobacco reviews, or any other reviews for that matter, because they're afraid that they're either going to look stupid, or they're afraid that they don't have the expertise or the level of experience to tell other people what they perceive. So they come up with a lot of excuses.
I hear it all the time. I have an immature palate. My palate's just not developed enough. I just started smoking. I need to develop my palate. Not developed enough. According to YouTube demographics on my channel alone, most of us are well over the age of 35. There might be exceptions, but either way, I would argue that you've had plenty of time to develop your palate. In fact, I would argue that your palate is well developed. What my theory is, you don't have the vocabulary to describe what you smell and what you taste. It's not as much about a refined palate as much as it is about a refined vocabulary. So I want to help you. If you've ever considered doing a review, or even if you haven't, I want to encourage you to do a tobacco review. And yes, my purpose is a little self-serving, because when I look for new tobaccos, one of the ways that I do that is I search YouTube for tobacco reviews for that particular blend. And more often than not, I find Bradley at Stuff and Things, who does a very exhaustive review, which is appreciated. But I also find others. And the problem with relying on one review when you're looking for new tobacco is that you only have one person's opinion. And why would you want to rely on one person's opinion?
I'd much rather have, 3 or 4 opinions of a tobacco, even if some of those are less exhaustive reviews. So I want to teach you guys how I do reviews in hopes that you might pick up a couple of tidbits or maybe a few tips on how to do it, and encourage you to post a YouTube YTPC tobacco review. And I'll give you a real easy guideline on how to do it. So the first thing you're going to need is your phone, and you're going to pull up tobaccoreviews.com, and you're going to get a bowl of whatever you're going to review. My suggestion to you is to review a tobacco that you're already very familiar with. As you know, I smoke a lot of Bayou Morning. The reason I do that, the reason I picked a kind of a home-based blend, an everyday blend, is because I wanted to have a launching point by which I can compare other tobaccos. As an example, right now I am smoking Elizabethan from Dunhill. Thank you, Mel, the garbage man Piper. And I'm able, because I have Bayou Morning as a reference point, I'm able to make comparisons between this blend and Bayou Morning. As an example, I know that Bayou Morning has about 25% Perique, so it's heavy on the Perique. Dunhill Elizabethan has a very similar, almost, it reminds me of almonds, and a little bit of a chocolate hint to it, but it's way lower. It's more in the background than it is with Bayou Morning. So I can pick out those flavors, and I can see differences between those flavors. So pick a tobacco that you're very familiar with, that you've smoked a lot of, because it's going to be easier for you to start figuring out words to associate with the flavors and the smells. Then you're going to get a notepad, and on that notepad, you're going to write appearance. You're going to leave some space. You're going to leave space between all of these. So you're going to write appearance. You're going to write smell or aroma. You're going to write Char Light. You're going to write first half, second half, and conclusion. And that's going to be the outline that you're going to follow as you smoke a bowl. And while you smoke that bowl, you're going to write down your thoughts, your perceptions, even if you can't necessarily put words to it. Write down what you immediately think. But I also want you to review, to read reviews from tobaccoreviews.com. And the reason you're going to do that is because that's going to help you to find words to associate with the flavors that you're perceiving. And you'll notice on tobacco reviews that there are a lot of different perceptions. People perceive things differently, and that's actually good, because you're going to find more words, more descriptors, and that's really what you're looking for. You're looking for the descriptors that people use, and you're trying to figure out how to associate that descriptor with what you're smelling or what you're tasting. And if you do that enough with a particular blend, you will then be able to start describing that blend in a totally different way. Not just, oh, well, it's in English, or it's a vapor, and I like Perique. You can start explaining what it is about Perique that you like, right? What I like about Bayou Morning, it's got so much Perique that it gives you a really heavy, peppery flavor, but it reminds me of Tabasco. Now, you might smoke Bayou Morning and think, Roglide Soli, you're nuts. There's no Tabasco in Bayou Morning. But that's how I associate it. It's very difficult to associate words with smells and tastes, because in a lot of cases there just aren't words to describe them. So that's why you see variances in reviews. So my challenge to you is take your notepad, write down those things, right? You're going to write appearance, you're going to write aroma, you're going to write Char Light, first half, second half, conclusion. And you're going to smoke a bowl of your favorite tobacco. You're going to write down your perceptions. You're going to use Tobacco Review as kind of a cheat sheet. And then you're going to wait a day, and you're going to go back and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to get that notepad, same notepad you wrote on, and as you smoke, you're going to review your own review while you smoke. And that will help you to really kind of set in stone, set in memory, those flavors that you're tasting with the words that you wrote down. And they can change, and they probably will change, right? You're going to find that you might use the term plum, but then the next day when you smoke it, you realize that it's not plum. It's like more like you know, just the inside of the plum. Without, I've used that term before. It's like the inside, and you can use whole sentences to describe things. It's like the inside of a plum, not with the skin on the outside, because the skin adds a bitterness, right? So it's just the pulp of the plum. You'll start developing ways to describe things, and you don't even have to use the same things that you find on tobaccoreviews.com. You can use whatever you perceive, because perception is reality for you. I might not taste the same thing, I might not perceive the same thing, but that's okay, because if you say that it's got plum in it, I'm going to be looking for something that reminds me of plum, and it may send me in a different direction, and that's totally okay. But don't be afraid to do reviews. Don't be afraid to give it a shot. My personal opinion is the more tobacco reviews we can get out on the YTPC, the better, because it makes our decisions when we're looking to purchase tobacco. And we all spend a lot of money on tobacco because we all have TAD, tobacco acquisition disease. And we want to make the best investments with that money and get the blends that we think we're going to like. And the only real way to know what that is to listen to opinions of others. You can listen to the reviews that the manufacturer provides, but I've found that 9 times out of 10, they're nowhere close, right? They're marketing. They're trying to sell you something that's better than it is. So I would much rather listen to the opinion of one of you than the manufacturer. Nothing against businesses. I know that they're going to market to me. They're going to tell me how great it is. I'd rather you tell me how great it is, or you tell me how bad it is. You know, be honest in your opinion. So, folks, give it a shot. It's fun. It also gives you a point of reference for your own tasting of tobacco, and it gives you kind of some construct on how to tell whether or not you like or dislike a blend. So my challenge to you, if you've watched this video, is do a review, just one, on your favorite tobacco. Trying to relate. Do a review on your favorite tobacco. Not going to happen. And post a review. It's that simple. It's your own opinion. And the good thing about opinions is you, as Mel the Garbage Man Piper says, you are the expert on your own opinion. So it doesn't matter if anybody agrees. It's your own opinion. But it might help somebody else in making their decision. So that's my challenge to you. If you do post a tobacco review, leave it down in the comments. I want to watch it. I love watching tobacco reviews. They're fun. And they give me good ideas on what's my next purchase. Right? So many tobaccos to review and only one wife to object. So that's all I got today, folks. I am Roglad Solely. Keep the rubber side down.